Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
Do you miss it?
What?
The tahini.
Oh, that I forgot to put in the hummus that I made.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I don't miss it either.
Yeah.
The lemony punch,
Yeah.
for me, takes me where I want to be in a hummus.
It's got the right amount of lemon and garlic, and I think I might be anti-tahini.
Anti-tahini.
I mean, tahini would have provided that lovely creaminess that it's so good and a really great hummus, but I think this is kind of just like a rustic, nice little bite.
It's really good.
Thank
Can
you.
I ask you how you did the garlic? Because I've tried it a couple different ways, and I have a preference in how I do my garlic for my hummus.
Well, why don't you just talk about that?
Well, because I want to know what you did so I can compliment it and then see if I'm wrong. I'm
You're
nervous.
asking me leading questions so you can talk about your own
and then I
garlic
can say,
stuff?
oh, that's interesting because here's a better way.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk about me. This recipe is just literally put everything in a Cuisinart and zizz it for 30 seconds or whatever.
When you did the garlic, did you chop it up or did you do it on a microplane? Because I found that in the microplaning community, it opens the garlic up too much.
Microplaning community, which I am a part of, which we will get to because I got to talk about my new microplane situation. But truly, it's not part of the microplaning community. This was literally just fucked into a blender and zizzed with no microplaning or cutting or chopping. It was just whole cloves of garlic.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I will report back.
Okay. Wait, what's your garlic situation?
Oh, when I microplane for hummus, it's too punchy.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
I did have a guac situation where I microplaned onion for a guacamole, and it was way too much. That onion juice just overpowered everything.
I think so. When the cell structure explodes like a nuke bomb, it's just way too much for any kind of dip sitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is great, though, however, with the new TikTok recipe that I am obsessed with, and I think I've made it every morning this week. And I didn't even, this is how I know, I never would like to say that I'm old, but I know that I'm not part of the TikTok generation because of this, because I read about it on Huffington Post.
Wait, the viral TikTok finally reached you?
Yeah, it made it to Huffington Post, and that's how I saw it. It's like when I read about cultural things in the New York Times, and I'm like, well, I guess that's over.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they know about...
They're saying Bay now,
yeah,
according to...
They know about hype beasts over at the New York Times, so I guess that wave is crashed. But so I read about a TikTok recipe on Huffington Post. And then I watched the TikTok, and I made it, and it was very good. I'm very excited about it. It is a grated egg over avocado situation that is just absolutely delicious. You toast bread.
Wait.
What
up, Mary Jane?
How's it going, Mike?
Great. Welcome to Weed and Grub, everyone. This is a podcast about comedy,
Cannabis,
culture,
cooking,
calling shit out,
and microplanes.
And microplane
and
communities.
models.
And yeah,
because of our fabulous guest.
Hot. Okay, so
yes,
the recipe for this microplaning situation.
Okay, so I think if you go on TikTok and just use the grated egg hashtag, it's like the #1 trend on TikTok, but according to Huffington Post. So basically you toast a piece of, I've been using ciabatta, but any kind of like sourdough or country bread or anything. And then you spread Kewpie mayonnaise liberally all over it. And then you slice avocado thinly and you put that across. And then you grate a hard-boiled egg with a microplane if you have one. And it's just fluffy, fluffy, fluffy egg mimosa, salt, pep, little drizz of sriracha. Best bite.
Fucking
Best
delicious.
Breakfast bite.
Microplaning an egg delicate?
Yes. So the key is that you need to hard boil your egg and then refrigerate it so it's like really firm and cool. Otherwise, it just doesn't. It kind of just crumbles and falls apart. But I have been like preparing my eggs at night and then refrigerating them and doing it the next day because I'm so into this. I'm really into. I think I talked about this last week or the week before, maybe about the idea of like preparing myself a meal and sitting down to eat it in the morning with like a napkin and like looking out the window at the hummingbirds instead of trying to be on my phone or anything because I'm not on social media for a minute to give myself a little mental health break. And so this egg preparation is a way of setting myself up for the day as well. And it's fucking delicious and it looks beautiful and makes me feel good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I have to imagine microplaning hard-boiled egg would make that almost like melt on the tongue a little bit because it's that thin. Excuse me. I'm like drooling. Sip. All right,
yeah.
take it away.
It is. It's like little clouds and it's super messy to eat, but it kind of doesn't, it's not like a drippy mess. It's just like a, fall apart mess, but then you can just pick up the bits and finish that with your fingers, and maybe Archie licks the plate, maybe he doesn't, who knows.
That's awesome. Can I share a recipe I made last night for the first time? Just like fucking around in the kitchen
What
while
did you
watching.
do that I don't know about?
Well, sorry. Once you get that fucking ring
I'm
in
gonna
my kitchen.
Get a ring installed so I know what you're doing, so I can come over and eat that stuff.
I know. Everyone's like, you never cook for me. And it's like, I cook every single night with a joint in my mouth and AirPods in my ears.
Yeah.
But it's at 2 a.m. for me.
Yeah, you're wearing your pink robe, being the thirsty chef. If anyone listening wants to see some very fun food, they're on YouTube, right?
They're somewhere.
Yeah, go look up my cooking in a robe. It's very pleasing.
So I've tried to make a gochujang caramel corn last night because my whole thing at night, while I'm trying to like maintain my my body right now, I'm really enjoying where I'm at physically.
Okay.
With like the weight I've lost, the way I'm keeping it off. The yo-yo that I'm in is only like 2 or 3 pounds, and I don't mind that yo-yo. And so I'm eating massive amounts of popcorn most nights. And last night, because elote seasoning from Trader Joe's and salt isn't doing it for me anymore,
Right.
I made like a gochujang caramel sauce where it was like gochujang, fish sauce, soy sauce, brown sugar, a little bit of rice wine, a lot of olive oil to smooth it all out. And then I popped the popcorn, drizzed that over it, shook, drizzed more, shook, and then let it all sit and kind of like harden, soak in, and solidify. And it was this like sweet, spicy, salty, sour caramel corn style pop. And it worked really well. I need to figure out how to get it hardened on there like a caramel corn because it was a little bit too wet still.
Yeah.
But if I can figure out that part, I think there's something to like Asian flavor popcorn for me that is going to be really satisfying.
That sounds like the ultimate stoner snack.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, if you run out at Sumo, make some gochujang caramel popcorn.
Man, will they let us pitch flavors, please? Like, I love their ranch. I know that it's on video right now. I love their cheese. I know it's on video right now. But I would love like some spicy tang.
It would be so fun to get into the flavor development lab for those guys. If you're listening, Sumo, we would love to come hang out in your kitchen and pitch some weird flavors. Definitely involving some, I love fish sauce. I'm a huge fan. Which one do you use?
Which fish sauce?
Do you have a brand you like?
Yeah, Red Label.
Is it Red Boat?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the kind of like the one. If you go on TikTok,
if you go on
Hashtag fish
Drudge
sauce.
Report, it'll link you to.
So funny that you say that because I was on Drudge Report last night, and I was like, "Oh my god, this guy didn't stop! Like he has been just going for 20 years now." I found out who Matt Drudge was like back when Paris Hilton had a sex tape, and he was just going, and he was like super right wing for a while, and now he's kind of come back to the center a little bit. I feel like he got weirded out by the lunatic fringe, and now he's just kind of reporting the news. And I was like, this is actually a really cool place to go for news aggregation. So. Yes, wow. I was on Drudge Report.
Okay. Also, check out SUMO Snacks at sumosnacks.com, TSUMO. You can get a free sample on their website. I ate a bag the other night. Before we get into the news and your other TikTok, I just want to say, here's what I loved about my sumo experience 3 nights ago. Mm-hmm. I got home and I was on my cheat day. And so I ripped open a bag of the lime-flavored sumo snacks.
Yep.
Ate the 10 milligram bag, drove to In-N-Out because I figured that if I drove all the way to In-N-Out on Sunset, timed it, sat in line, ordered my order, and then came back, not only would my sumo snacks kick in, but I would have this delicious In-N-Out to watch Tournament of Champions on Food Network Discovery Plus for the night.
The planning. Who says stoners are disorganized?
Give me a break.
Planning.
The best night of my life. I'm
wow.
like perfectly high from sumo snacks. I'm eating animal fries well done, 2 cheeseburgers with the mustard fry, double onions, and watching Guy Fieri's Tournament of Champions Season 3, Episode 3.
Holy shit, this is like nuclear physics, man.
Get in there.
I'm
so
like...
shout out sumo because goddamn if that wasn't a delicious night.
I could see all the equations floating around in your head as you time out like the edibles on set and the snacks and what you're going to watch and the timing of it all. That's some red string shit right there. Great job.
Thank you.
Wow, I'm so impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Feels great.
You're not like me eating edibles and falling asleep in bed with ice cream all over my face. Not well timed.
To each their own. What were you on Drudge Report for?
I don't know. I was just trying to read the news because I'm not on social media, so I literally don't know what's happening except for
your
the news.
TikTok. You had another viral TikTok that had to do with sumo snacks.
Oh no, I was just talking about the fish sauce that I like, and we should get into the kitchen for them and develop some flavors of, all sorts of stuff. But I do like. I think that's the one thing that I am interested about TikTok interested in for on TikTok. That's why I would be on TikTok. Is food talk.
Food talk.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a guy right now going and cooking the entire French Laundry cookbook
Wow.
in his home, and his episodes are few and far between because he's sourcing all of the ingredients to do it exactly right.
Wow.
But I got to tell you, every time it pops up, I'm so excited, not only for him and all the equipment and how he's like learning a new technique to do it, but he has like dedicated himself to cooking the entire French Laundry cookbook. And it's so cool.
That's so awesome. The thing that bums me out about TikTok is that they don't allow weed. There's no, I mean, there's weed talk. I guess it's like all hidden and they spell it, you know, OUID, and there are ways to like follow cannabis accounts on TikTok. And yeah, I mean, you know, there are some great ones out there, but just in general, they're so like anti-weed that I just never.
I have 2 strikes against me for in like a week.
I mean, you got banned from Nextdoor.
That's true.
You're just trouble. Speaking of weed, I wanted to talk about this El Blunto brand that we got sent from our friend Noah, and these cool little 12 El Jointitos. They're diamond infused and they're so freaking cute.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Tiffany OG.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's a
these
hybrid.
Are sexy.
Yeah.
What camera should I point that at? There? Check that out, everybody. A dog walker size joint is exactly right for me. I hope that as we go federally legal, I hope that size pre-roll is flying off the shelves.
Yeah.
Because it is perfect, not only in like or not even post-COVID era. It's just perfect for me, perfect to not share, but also the perfect amount for me to give you your own.
That's right. Here's your own.
Thank you, Mary Jane. That's what I was hinting at.
And Noah is doing great. I mean, we met Noah actually through our friend Lauren because they've just known each other forever. And he's doing really cool stuff with his brand here in California, El Blunto. They've been working their way up for, I think we met them maybe, it was definitely pre-pandemic. So they've been at it a minute and they're like all over the place now. And they're making cool infused cigars and blunts. And they've got these little...
This tastes great.
Mm-hmm.
I feel cool.
Yeah. You're cool.
Speaking, especially like with our guest this week, like I feel like I could. Does this look good to you if I modeled?
Oh yeah. I gotta say, you know, that picture of you that just published in. Are we allowed to say about the?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a very cool picture of you that will be in a magazine soon that Lauren Hurt, actually, who we were just talking about, Noah's, our mutual connection to Noah, took with you. And you're like, you've got a joint in your mouth and you're smoking it and blowing smoke out at the same time. And it's just a fucking cool picture. So you're good.
It is a really cool picture.
You do look good on film.
Thank you,
Mike.
Lauren Hurt. And more about that in April.
And you mentioned federal legalization, which does actually tie into our news story if we're ready to get to the Grub Gazette.
Yeah, let's get to the news this week.
All right. It is coming from Marijuana Moment this week, and it is just a story about a GOP congressman who fought for weed legalization, and he's passed on, and he is being honored by bipartisan colleagues. So I just wanted to say cool. RIP, Rep. Don Young, who was a Republican congressman from Alaska. And this story from Marijuana Moment says that he was a rare example of a pro-legalization Republican congressman who was one of just 5 GOP members of the House of Representatives who voted in favor of a bill to end marijuana prohibition. He died on Friday. He was the longest-serving member of the House and one of 4 co-chairs of the bipartisan Congressional Cannabis Caucus, along with Earl Blumenauer, Barbara Lee, and Dave Joyce. And he left a legislative legacy on the issue that crossed partisan divides. He did some really great work, it sounds like. And
that's beautiful. Does it happen to say how old he was when he passed?
I think super old.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. He was 88.
88.
Yeah.
So it's 2022, right?
Mm-hmm.
Minus 88 would be 70s?
What are you trying to figure
born
out?
In the 70s?
No, he would have been born in the 40s. Or
born
no,
in the 40s.
The late 30s, probably.
Born in the late 30s?
Yeah.
Just because I remember, like,
36.
When I was in Alaska, I was doing
34.
research. Really?
Mm-hmm.
You can do that in your brain?
Yeah, 1934.
How the fuck do you see numbers in your brain?
That actually wasn't that fast.
It doesn't matter. You can see numbers in your brain?
I mean, you know, just thought backwards.
How did you do it?
I thought of when,
you pictured
where
what?
we are, and then, I don't know, it was like 2022 minus 88.
How do you do it?
You know what I actually did was that I added 34 to 2000 would have been 66. And then I added the 22 years since 2000 in my head.
Whoa. I might be good at planning watching Food Network while eating In-N-Out.
Mental arithmetic.
But you have a real skill.
I'm really bad at math, but that was, yeah.
Damn, no wonder we
I'm
do
good at
this
making
together.
change, though. Years of bartending and waiting tables. I'm very good at making
you
change.
can see numbers and get them right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I bring that up because I know from performing in Alaska that they went legal in like in the 70s.
Right.
So this guy has been on the forefront of legalization and made change in a state that was well beyond the rest of the country. That is what a powerful legacy to leave behind.
Yeah, he sounds really amazing. He's really being eulogized beautifully on Twitter and all the social media. And this article on Marijuana Moment is really lovely and talks about a lot of the work that he did. So R.I.P. Don Young, and thank you for all the great work you did for weed legalization in your state and beyond.
And take a fucking note, Republicans.
Yeah.
And Democrats.
Yes.
Take a note, Gov.
You know, there's not much that has a lot of bipartisan support right now, but cannabis legalization is one of them. And I'm actually working on a piece right now about federal legalization, and it's really interesting to look at all of the different bills that are in play. Some Democrat sponsored, there's a couple that are Republican sponsored, and I think however it happens, it's obviously going to happen with a broad consensus. And I think that weed is really bringing people together in that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be like, listen,
Oh.
we need legalization federally.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
You're serious.
I'm very serious.
You're serious.
Right now.
I can tell you're serious because your hand is tented.
On something hard.
So a flat hand would mean that you're joking.
Right.
But a tented hand means that you are serious.
Very serious
That's how
about
I
it.
know when you're making a point.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I was like this, I'd be like, legalize weed or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
if-
Mike's just being funny.
Yeah.
Well, but
A tented, pointed
a
hand.
tented pointed hand. And then when you do this, when your two hands go together, you're very serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so all fingertips together pointing out front at you is what a lot of politicians do when they're trying to make a point.
Very important points.
I'm very serious. Kamala Harris is, like, very serious. And then what's this one, though?
Dead serious.
Dead serious.
wait. The evolution of seriousness from not to most
Right.
is
So flat hand, joking
okay.
on the
'Cause you're
table.
slapping the table. Ha
Yep.
ha ha.
Yeah. And then all 5 finger points on the tabletop, so your hand looks like a creature, is that you're serious.
Uh-huh.
And then all 10 fingertips together,
Like a serial entrepreneur. Yeah.
you're on Shark Tank.
Uh-huh.
You're very serious. And then all 10 fingertips pointed up is you're a supervillain. You're dead fucking serious. You're so serious. You're Elon Musk serious. You're Jeff Bezos serious.
Very serious.
You're,
yeah.
Austin Powers, Dr. Evil serious. Yeah.
That's such a good code crack.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like no one's ever going to make a joke with a tented hand.
It's not gonna
You got to
hit.
do flat hand.
Flat hand funny.
Yeah, flat hands.
Uh-huh.
Serious. Jokes, serious. We gotta break this down. I feel like we could do like a stream of talk shows and political stuff and just see what the hand gestures are, because I feel like no politicians are doing flat hands.
No, I learned because Bob Dole and Bill Clinton both gave that tiny thumbs up.
Oh, tiny thumbs.
Tiny thumb meaning like really good idea, but we're not there yet.
Right.
But this is an important point.
But
and
just showing you the
subliminally,
tip.
Yeah.
Not the whole thumb, because that looks insane. You're gesturing with whole thumbs.
Uh-huh. Just the tip.
I hate the guy. I don't like to name him, but Trump does flat hands, but out.
Which is the most unserious.
Yeah. It was like he literally doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Mark's doing jazz hands. We should also say we're coming to you live from Top Tree Studios, the
Hell
number
yes.
one fucking studio in the game. Thank you for allowing us to record video and audio here with producer Mark. Shout out.
Getting high on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
It feels great.
Trump does jazz hands.
Jess. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm going to have some more hummus. This was delicious.
Awesome. We need to get to Buzz of the Week eventually.
We do?
Yeah.
Is
But
it time?
well, can I plug my stand-up dates real
Yeah,
quick? Is
please.
that cool? I
my
usually
God.
don't, but I have a lot of them, and I'd like people to come.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying not to crunch in the microphone.
Crunch into the mic. People don't want to hear me plug
People
shit.
don't want to hear me eat celery and hummus.
People don't want to hear me plug.
Oh, well, listen, I did an open mic last week in preparation for the 420 show that we're going to be doing. Mike Glazer and his buds having an extravaganza in Sacramento.
That's
420.
Allie Lou's title. Full credit to Allie Lou, friend of the show. She's been on the show. That's definitely her title.
And she'll be on the lineup too. And so you and Allie and BOTW and I are all going to go to Sacramento, and you're going to obviously be the headliner. And then we're all going to have, Allie will feature, and I'm going to do 5 minutes.
Do we want to talk about how you did your first open mic, or do we want to hold that for another pod?
I mean, nobody needs to hear about my first open mic. It
It's
wasn't
so
that
wild.
interesting. I had a great time. I will say what was so awesome about it was that I think for an open mic, it was a really good experience. And not many people can say that losing your virginity is a great experience. Like my sexual losing my virginity was kind of a boring
my dick
story.
was going to break off.
You did?
Yeah.
When you lost
I was
your virginity?
surrounded by candles. She was wearing like some sexy lingerie, but neither of us knew what we were doing. And she was on top, and I thought my dick was going to snap.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds actually really good, though. Like if you had candle, like very intentional.
All of it intentional except
Yes.
for the part that wasn't.
Yeah, I mean that's just never going to be good your first time, right? Like it's always going to be weird.
Yeah. And it lasts. And you know how I am. I last for 90 minutes. It was just insane.
I don't know. But now we all do. Oh man. Well, I mean, I was like at a party with some guy in a room upstairs. It just wasn't intentional or cool in that way at all. So I'm glad you had a good experience with that.
It was very sweet.
But the open mic cherry popping it's truly because there were a bunch of comedians there. So it was like, I don't think it was just a bunch of people who don't really know how to do comedy, which I feel like is a lot of open mics are, just everyone's green.
Mm-hmm.
There were seasoned people there. Like I went with Allie Lou. She took me and she actually paid for me. It was really cool. And, everyone who got up was interesting and cool in a different way. And everyone was really working on material. And then when I got up to go, like it just, the microphone didn't work. And so I had this moment of panic where I was like, oh no. And then the host came up and she was changing out the battery and she was great too. And she had her kid there. And she was like, don't call child services. I'm just like, I'm a working mom. And so I have to bring my kid to these comedy shows, but don't worry about him. You can say whatever you want.
Don't censor yourself for this.
Yep.
Yeah. Great.
And so I did a bit about her kid and then that just kind of broke the ice for me. And then, I don't know, I just had a fun 5 minutes up there. It was great. I actually talked about snack walking.
Really?
Which I had talked about on last week's pod, about like freaking myself out because I thought I had a poltergeist too. And I went into the kitchen and all my cabinets were open. And it was just because I was high and looking for food. Like a bear in a cabin. Just breaking into my own fucking house. Where's the snacks? But anyway, it was
pawing the almonds.
Yeah, exactly. Gnawing through bags of.
I need a ring light in your kitchen to
Oh,
see
man.
your snack walking. You see me making gochujang popcorn, and I see you just like stumbling through, pawing fucking meat into your mouth.
And to keep an eye on Bobo, because that night when we went to the open mic, Allie came over and I had baked cookies for her to give to BOTW because it was his birthday, and we just left them out, and we came back and Bobo had eaten the cookies.
Really?
He ate a batch of chocolate chip cookies and then proceeded to have.
Your 18-year-old cat ate all the cookies.
He'll be 19 in August, and yes, he did.
Fucking respect.
He's crazy. And the next day was a bad situation. I had to clean up a lot of explosive diarrhea. It was gross.
So worth it.
So worth it. And the open mic was great. And I'm excited to try some stand up on your show.
So come to the Sacramento Punchline on 4/20, 8 o'clock. We have a ton of giveaways. We have a ton of prizes. We have a ton of sub prizes. And Mary Jane is going to be doing stand up.
I mean, who knows? We'll see.
You are going to be doing
At the very
stand-up.
least, I'll be wearing a weird outfit.
Can't beat that.
You can come and see my baked potato do Irish songs or whatever it is.
Sacramento Punchline 4/20.
Can have that later.
This weekend, I'm in San Francisco on the 25th and 26th. And then April 14th through 17th, Mary Jane and I are at the Comedy Fest in the California desert, Lancaster, California, to be exact. So if you're looking to do 3 days of camping and hanging out with us and recording some pods and doing some stand-up and singing and sitting around a campfire and maybe doing some drugs.
Definitely taking some drugs.
Definitely taking some drugs. You
Yeah.
heard it here first. I'll hide them in this hat you gave me.
Oh.
I usually just hide turkey in here.
Nice.
Like loose meat for when I'm on the road, but it's actually a drug pocket in this hat.
It is a drug pocket. Will you
I've been
put deli
just-
slices
Yeah,
up
I've just
in
been
there?
putting deli slices in here.
Nice.
And then I was like, oh, I could put Molly in here.
You could. Yeah.
If there's room after all the turkey.
Yeah. Molly covered in turkey juice. Great.
So that's the 14th through the 17th in the desert, and then the Punchline on 4/20, and then 4/22 and 4/23 doing some gateway shows with Billy Anderson. Allie Lou is also performing on those, and then the Arizona Comedy Fest on 4/26 through 4/28. That's in Glendale, Arizona. So if you're around then, come to those. But also, I heard Glendale is Phoenix. I don't know. It sounds like a weird state. And
Legal weed, though.
legal weed though.
Yep.
And then in May, hosting the Green Street Festival May 14th. Oh, no. Oh, I can't announce that yet. So hosting the Green Street Festival May 14th downtown Los Angeles. And then I will be in Texas, Colorado, and New Mexico May 18th through 21st. I'll have more specifics on that later. And then May 27th through 29th, I'll be in Vail, Colorado at their comedy festival.
That's a lot to hold in your head. Do you have it in your
Nobody's
link tree?
listening to this.
No, do you have it in your link tree?
I do have it in my link tree.
Okay, good.
Everyone just heard the way I do math is how everyone just heard that. It was a lot of what and okay.
What's going on? I did hear you say the Green Street Festival. I am so very excited about that. And also, friend of the pod, who you're going to meet in real life for the first time, Jordan Wanamaker, is coming to LA. And we're going to get to kick it in real life. I just met her for the first time in person in New York.
I'm very excited to finally
And I'm
meet
so
Jordan.
excited for all of us to hang and snack and eat some edibles and run around and see all the cool brands that are, going to be at that festival. I think
Yeah,
it's gonna
and
be a
there's
really
going to be
neat time.
sandwiches.
Yeah. They're just doing neat stuff. I always love going to Green Street.
Can I be honest with you? I know
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of celebrities there and a lot of really cool people who I'm excited to meet. But I wish that we should do a Coachella style poster, but it's just all the great snacks and food that are going to be at our festival.
Yeah.
That's what I would lead with. I would lead with sandwiches,
Yep.
bagels, your hummus, bobo cookies. That's my headliners when I go to this shit.
Yeah, I'm here for the pizza. I don't care about GCJ. A bunch of people just screamed.
Yeah. What?
What are you talking about? No,
Chicken head? You didn't like chicken head?
I'm so excited for the lineup and for the snack lineup, and also for, I don't know, just I'm so food obsessed lately. I think coming out of the pandemic and being able to go hiking again has ratcheted my metabolism. Not like I couldn't hike during the pandemic, but I'm just hiking a lot and then paying myself for doing a good job of hiking in food right now, and I'm sort of just really excited about it.
Fuck yeah, that actually ties into our guest Michael Gabel this week.
Yes.
So let's do Buds of the Week and then get to Michael.
Okay.
Do you want to go first or second on a big bud?
I can go first on a big bud.
Okay.
I want to shout out as my bud of the week this week at Taylor_Mason96. Congrats, Taylor, on having a legal shopping experience. And that's all I want to say about that. But thank you so much for sharing with us and sending us a photo. And always just love hearing from you. You're just a fun follow. And so stoked that you listen to the pod and think to send us updates. So thank you.
It's very cool.
It's very cool.
I was trying to think of what my first legal weed experience was because it was somebody opens up their freezer in a trailer park
Right.
just outside St. Louis for so long. That's where I got all my weed. I met a woman at an ICP concert in just outside LA who I
Jesus.
started buying weed from immediately because she smoked me out. I was like, this is great. She's like, come over sometime. And she had a cool fucking she had some cool ICP tattoos. I was like, where do you live? And she gave me her address and I came out there and it was just this wild trailer park, and she opened up her freezer and threw me an ounce and I went on my
Wow.
way, and we did that for a very long time. So I just want to shout out Shaggy 2 Dope, Violent J,
Yeah.
the whole ICP community.
Fucking magnets. Yes. I do want to say,
getting me there.
I mean, that's something that we don't talk about a lot, is still buying from the traditional market here in California, which is obviously thriving, and that there is such fantastic weed still available from the traditional market and home grows. And some of my favorite, more often than not, we went to a trim party a couple years ago, and I left with a bag of Purple Punch trim and made edibles with that. And I was like, this is greater than any shopping in a fucking dispensary experience. There's something just about being connected to the plant in that way.
Yeah.
That's so crucial. So
Well, and I want weed to go federally legal, and I want it to be done the right way. But I also know that the cash that I was giving to her was going directly to her and her family,
right.
in a very easy to understand way, and I will never have a problem with that.
Yeah, it's not filling the state's coffers and then going to a bunch of permitting and licensing fees and stuff. Yeah,
100%.
exactly right.
So shout out. No, I'm not going to say your name. But my bud of the week this week is Jeff Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Saving our bacon.
Saving our fucking bacon. Yo, tax season is upon us. It might be past. I don't know when it is. But Jeff Thompson is not only an incredibly talented actor who you've seen in, I think, probably dozens of commercials at this point. He's an award-winning scriptwriter, a tremendous actor. I think he won Blacklist. I think he was on Blacklist last year. For
Holy
his
shit.
script. Yeah. And he is our accountant.
Yes.
And he is making us learn.
Yeah.
So if you need an accountant, especially if you're in the LA area and you listen to this and you're kind of in the same areas that we're in, hook up with this guy.
If you have a weed podcast, He's your person.
He's your fucking person. So his website is jeffthat.com at jeffthat. Or not at jeffthat.com. You know what I'm saying. And then his Instagram is oneblackjeff. One Black Jeff is his IG. He's
Numeral
also on
or
Facebook.
spelled out?
ONE.
Okay.
Yeah, and not only is he just like real fun to hang out with, great at bits, but he's top.
I mean, he manages to make accounting emails funny, which is, I think, an impossible achievement.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he inserts like GIFs and pictures of animals and shit.
The
It's
first year
great.
we worked together on my personal taxes, I just sent him a picture of the bag of receipts I had next to the other plastic bag of receipts I had. And I was like,
Nightmare.
help. And he's like, no, but we're going to get you on track and you can be a adult and do this the right way.
Ugh.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah, the best kind of friends. They make you learn.
Yeah.
Like our guest.
Like our guest.
Is that a good segue?
That's perfect, Mary Jane.
I learned so much chatting with Michael. He's so fucking interesting. What a life. What a trajectory. What an awesome hang today.
He's a massive talent.
Yeah.
And super kind.
Yeah. A multi-hyphenate. A Renaissance man. A modern Renaissance man.
I believe that truly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go into the show notes for this one and either get his book or check out his Instagram, like whatever it is, just like I would fucking get to know this guy because he's a special one.
He's a deeply kind person. I really enjoyed our conversation and I really love what he had to say about self-respect and self-love. And I know when he said it, he was like, it sounds kind of woo-woo. And I was like, that's all I'm trying to do right now. So yeah, it was awesome.
Cool.
And I'm so glad I know him.
I know him better. That's awesome.
I know him pretty well. He
Yeah.
put his arm around me when we took a picture. So.
What? I had my hands on my side.
Yeah. He put his arm like right around me.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. We're in a healthy place.
Okay.
Without further ado, here is our interview with
Michael Gabel.
I know on your podcast, Model Behavior, that you did with your agent, Rick Ferrari, you said that you're uncomfortable with how great looking you are.
Did I say that?
Yeah, kind of. Well, like I'm paraphrasing, but it was more or less like the idea that like anybody who like tells you that you're great looking, you're like, I'm so much more. Like I'm an author. I've gone to like an Ivy League school. I designed roller coasters. I'm from St. Louis. I'm giving your background that we'll get into, but also
yeah,
you know.
I think my looks are the least interesting thing about me because it doesn't show any like growth or achievement. It's like, okay, I have a face, like whatever.
Shout out to the double helix.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, mom and dad. I think more right now I'm insecure about my chest hair situation.
Where's it at? High or low volume?
So I've been shaving my chest for years since I started modeling and doing commercials because I did a lot of fitness stuff and like that was just the style.
Can I just shout out the volleyball centerfold?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're like not touching the ground anywhere and every muscle's flexed. It's
just greased up. It's like seeing a Top Gun. It was good.
Great.
Childhood dream come true. But so yeah, I shaved my chest for so long, and then I just shot with a new fitness client, and the creative director, I became friends with him. We've been wordling each other, and he's like, "Can I ask you a kind of weird question? Like, why do you shave your chest?" And it's like, I don't know. I've just been doing it forever. And he's like, "That's so old school. Like chest hair's back." He's like, "Grow it out." Yeah. So I'm growing it out, and I just like feel weird about it. It's like because it's just it's like getting a new tattoo. You're like, what is that? Oh yeah, right.
Totally.
Like,
what do you shave or do you nair? Because I naired my chest once in college, and my whole body broke out into a bright red.
Well, it's like a chemical burn.
Oh,
chemical
it smells
burn. Yeah.
so horrendous.
I've never naired. I've always
Unfucking real.
shaved.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's razor burn issues. I've never figured out. People would say electrolysis, but like my thought was, what if it comes back in fashion?
Right.
So, and it has.
Good
so
call.
good I didn't do it. I
Yeah.
also don't, and I've never waxed either because that just 40-year-old version scarred me, I think. Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah.
Check this out.
You wax that?
No, but I have like back tricep hair now that came out of nowhere.
Oh, is that new?
It's new hair.
Welcome
Yes.
to the 30s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Welcome.
yo, I have like back tricep
Yep.
hair.
Mhm.
I've never had it before. I'm usually like I'm like hairy in the front,
Yeah.
clean in the rest, like smooth butthole, great balls.
Oh my
but now I
God.
got like this chest, this
You
like
smooth
tricep
butthole?
smoothest butthole in the
No
world.
Really?
way.
It's an unbelievable. No, I've never wiped.
It's like a lifesaver, a gummy saver. Just
It's so funny to hear dudes talk about like hair removal, because I just feel like I have struggled with it since I was about 12, and I've never heard two men have a conversation about it. I mean, I had an Epilady given to me when I was 13 and 14. Do you know what that is?
Never heard that
It's
word.
a machine that rips the hair out by the roots. And all of the ads, it was like all of these beautiful women like smoothly running it over their legs in 80s commercials, and then you get it and it's just like it's like a scream. The whole thing is just,
it's like a little roller thing.
Yeah,
that, like,
it looks
rips
like a
them
little,
out. Yeah,
it looks like a coffee whipper, but you run it up your leg and it just tears everything up by the roots. So many painful threading.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever threaded anything?
I've heard of. I've seen the process. It's cool, just from like a.
It's very
physics
precise
standpoint.
and it makes everything look really good. But ow. Yeah.
I mean, girls have a lot of real estate: legs, armpits.
Yep, eyebrows.
Yeah,
lip,
eyebrows,
chin, butthole.
lip, chin, butthole.
Mm-hmm.
The whole bikini situation.
Yeah,
I don't
that
envy
waxing.
that,
Get on
no.
all fours, baby.
I know a girl who she had hair on her toes.
Yeah.
And
I
so
have
she
that.
would do. Yeah.
It's a genetic thing.
Yeah. So she
Mhm.
would get her toes waxed,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I
People
feel
are
like
into feet.
most girls would wax their toes if they had hair on them.
Really?
I'd say
Also-
not speaking from no, I'm kidding.
Mid-digital hair on this knuckle is a genetic thing. You either have it or you don't.
I don't think I do.
Huh.
On this like top one.
Wait,
I
do you have the birthmark on your upper left arm near the crease of the elbow? I saw a TikTok where
This
all
one?
dudes. Yes.
Oh.
All fucking. Do you have it too, Mark? Producer
What?
Mark? Yes, I'm saying all dudes have the birthmark on the upper left elbow crease.
What is it supposed to? What is it?
Are you
symbolic?
clones?
Bingo.
Is it that's a cloning
It's straight up
conspiracy
like,
from
it's
TikTok?
like
Like
DNA
Matrix shit.
cloning. Yeah.
What?
What?
All
That's-
dudes are from the same dude.
Can I go
Wow.
Google some stuff real fast? I know what I'm doing with my afternoon.
That's actually pretty biblical.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like Adam's mark or something.
Wow, Christian TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are
Oh.
a low-key Christian podcast.
Yes, that's right. Bringing you God's word.
Just subverting the heathens.
So we didn't know each other in St. Louis, but we're
No.
both STL crew.
Yeah, same age kind of, same
Yeah.
generation. Yeah.
All of it. How do you feel about growing up in St. Louis, and when did you leave?
I grew up there until college, and then my parents are still there, so I loved it. People always ask about the Midwest, and I think it was just like an idyllic upbringing, just like bikes in neighborhoods, suburbia. Like downtown STL is not really STL, is not like a thing. So it was just like suburban, super suburban. I liked it a lot. I was playing in the woods behind my house most of the time. Yeah.
Do you ever refer to STL by the area? What's the area code?
314.
314.
It's the you call it the 314?
If I see
Okay.
a 314 area code, I'm like, oh, you're my person. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have
Yeah.
it tattooed anywhere?
No. Do you?
No. I don't know what I would rep with an area code tattoo. I don't know that I'd get an area code tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
kind
feels
of a
weird.
90s,
Like I feel
90s
uncomfortable
thing.
wearing other men's jerseys sometimes. You know what
Oh.
I mean? I don't know if I want a whole area code on my arm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe the arch. I don't know. Or I just get a toasted ravioli.
Have you been up in the arch?
Of course.
Wait, I saw you fave a toasted ravioli tweet on Emo's Pizza for toasted ravioli.
I started
Day.
following them because they've been following you. And I was like, oh, I got to follow Emos. Dude, that's goals right there to get Emos to like your post.
And repost, I think you were
I
on the
know.
Emo's grid, right?
I'm on the grid next to Simone Biles. No big deal, but we got to get
What?
you out there. I mean,
Yeah,
come
you
on,
gotta be
man.
on there.
You got to be on there.
So I was
have
at
to.
Gelson's yesterday. No big deal. I'm a Rockefeller. And there was like one of those booklets at the register, and on the cover was toasted ravioli. And I was like, whoa, let's not tell everyone about this. Like, it was air fryer recipes. I guess you can do air fryer toasted ravioli.
Ooh, yeah, but it's not going to be the same.
No, it's
she
definitely
had her
not.
first toasted ravioli when I was
How was it?
doing headlining. Yeah,
I had the whole Emo's experience. I walked in and obviously looked like a kid in a candy store because they were like, hello,
Yeah.
welcome
Friendly.
to Emo's.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really great because they were all baked as fuck. Like
Oh, yeah.
everyone behind the counter was so stoned. And they went in, when they found out it was my first time, they went in and they got me a toasted ravioli and gave it to me for free so I could taste it. And it was
Piping
just
hot.
like, oh my God, it was delicious. It's everything you want
Yeah.
in fast food bite, you know?
So for people who don't know, it's basically a meat-filled ravioli, sometimes cheese, but that's bullshit. Meat-filled ravioli, breaded, deep fried. You dip it in marinara, usually like an appetizer. And
Yeah.
like kids in St. Louis grow up eating them at lunch in school. And I always wonder, because I sell it so hard, that when people come and I'm like, how is it? And they're like, it's really good. I don't know if they're lying to me.
It felt like a better version of whatever a mozzarella stick wants to
Exactly,
be. You know,
exactly.
like that
Yeah.
kind of like, it was like a fancy mozzarella stick. I really liked it.
Yeah, good.
Do
Yeah.
you
That's
have
the right
a
answer.
Yeah.
biting technique? Do you have a toasted
Oh,
ravioli?
so you bite
eat?
off the corner and allow a hot air to escape and cool it off. Then you blow inside to cool the meat. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like this is a fetish account that I would follow. It'd be like hot
I'm
guys
gonna
eating
make it.
toasted ravioli,
Yeah.
biting the corner and blowing on it. I'm like having a moment over here. You know, there's the account where the girl smashes bread with her face. Have you ever seen it? I think she's
No.
called Bread Face. Yeah, I would follow you if you just ate toasted ravioli.
Well, it's
You
funny
have
because it's
1 million
such
followers.
a St. Louis thing. You don't really find them anywhere else. And I think a toasted ravioli food truck would kill. Roy Choi, if you want to get on that.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Come back to the pod. We got a pitch
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some fusion. Put something interesting inside.
What'd you leave St. Louis for?
I went to college in New Hampshire, so I left for college.
What college?
Dartmouth College.
You went to Dartmouth.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
a big deal, man.
Did you row?
No, I hung out with rowers. They're just crazy, sadistic, masochistic, insane people.
Mhm.
I thought about rowing. I was very small. I grew very late.
I feel like they would have wanted you to row because
Yeah,
you've got to
I
reach.
thought about being a lightweight. I just didn't want to wake up at 5 a.m. That was
Mhm.
not my jam.
Wait. When did you sprout up to like 6? What are you like 6'1", 6'2"?
6'1", yeah. I was 5'4" for almost all of high school.
Wow,
Wow.
man.
Very little.
Dennis Rodman story.
Yeah,
Holy
I was
cow.
actually just showing my friend photos, and I was like, "Guess my age," and she was like, "I don't know, 14." And I was like, 22. Yeah. So I grew very late, and it sucked. It was not fun. You get the curse of cuteness, and then that's not fun.
everyone's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's paying off because sort of paying off because the baby face plays, but
Mhm.
all my representations we want you to look older because young dad category. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
like
got
if
what
you
I
had
got.
silver streaks on each side and
Yeah.
you were holding a baby, I would buy whatever product that is.
I'll buy that baby.
I'll buy that fucking baby.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Wait, did the growing that fast hurt?
I don't think it was that fast. It's just I started late. So I
Ah.
looked young until I still look young.
Yeah.
But it just I was very small. So yeah, I thought about rowing in college. I wanted to play rugby, but I wasn't that athletic.
How'd you get into Dartmouth then?
Yeah.
what-
Grades. My dad went there, which didn't hurt.
Cool.
Mostly grades and I had a pretty good academic resume and extracurriculars. I played sports, but didn't because I was so little. I didn't excel at them. I played because all my friends did, and I played lacrosse and water polo and all the sports where you get beat up. And
I played water polo.
really,
Yeah,
dude, that's the most brutal sport in the world. I think.
it's intense.
Especially, did you play on the men's team?
No, well, I did after I went to the nationals in Canada with my provincial team from Newfoundland.
Okay.
And then when I got back, they were all like, never again. And so then I played with the guys for a little while,
So-
and they were really rough.
Well, there was a couple girls who played on some of the teams we played against, and the girls got it. It was not pretty. The girls they're like, oh, there's a girl, we're gonna give her the worst of it. And
I wore 3 swimsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And water polo is nasty. Guys sharpen their toenails.
Yep.
They put their feet in your Speedo, pull you down. They pee on you. It's a dirty sport. Yeah.
What
What's
the
going on under the
fuck?
surface is it's like chum.
It's
like chum in the
vicious.
water. It's like Jaws.
I had at one point, I was swimming. It was a woman who did this, or a girl who did, but she grabbed my thigh and my shin, and she twisted, and it popped my patella off. I actually had a crazy knee injury under the water.
And you can hear that pop
And again,
echo underneath the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they pulled me out, and I was like, "Wah!" on the deck. It
Jeez.
was it's rough.
Yeah.
But you played.
I played.
Mhm.
I tried to play. Yeah. And it's weird because I have a weird thing with water. I have a kind of a fear of water.
Same.
Fell in the pool when I was 2 years old and just never really got over it.
We talked about it on your pod, but I
Yeah.
have that egg knot from diving into the shallow end
Yeah.
of a pool
Oh.
at 9 years old.
So I did everything I
Yeah.
could to get over it. I played water polo. I got my scuba license. I became a lifeguard. I started surfing, and still being underwater and not knowing where my next breath is is pure fear. Pure
Immersion
panic.
therapy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you face everything like that?
I don't know.
Walk towards
I
things
think
that you're uncomfortable
hunting
with?
fear is important. Going after the thing you don't want to do is probably the thing you should do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Besides water, what else makes you uneasy?
I mean, there's tons of things that are just anything outside my comfort zone. Anything where I'm I don't know, or I don't want to do that, or you could scale it down to being at the gym. You're I don't want to do one more set, and it's well, you probably should. As soon as I hear
Yeah.
myself say that, it's no, you need to. And that's all back to this book that I tout to everyone, which is The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, and it's all about resistance and how the more important something is for your soul's evolution, the more resistance you'll feel toward it. So you can sort of hunt that feeling like a dowsing rod, and whatever you're resistant to, you need to just blindly go at and get over that resistance.
I have a hard time falling asleep. I should probably try to sleep harder.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of serious.
Yeah?
I really have a hard I will do everything that I can to not go to sleep. And I
Because
feel
you don't want to?
yeah, I cannot lie in the dark with my eyes closed and just my thoughts.
Then what about waking up? Do you not want to get up?
No, I'm happy to get up. I just am like thinking about like how could I apply that to something that I do really badly right now. One of those things is like actually like turning everything off and lying down and going to sleep as an
You
art.
have wild dreams.
I do.
So I would also be scared if I was you, because if my dreams were the types of dreams that you've described to me,
I think that's where I encounter a lot of my past stuff is in those moments.
Psychological stuff starts creeping up. That's interesting. My dreams are super mundane. Like I'm just at the grocery store.
Nice.
Yeah. So I wish I've had one flying dream and I was like, holy shit. And then I woke up. But they're usually very boring. But I'm trying to figure out why you would have that, because
and I don't even need to make all this bet myself, but I was really like trying to think of like hunting your fears is just such an interesting way to attack life.
Because recently in the past year or so, I used to fall asleep to The Office every single night. Like I'd put it on. I know every episode backwards and forwards, so it's like a lullaby. It's very comforting. I don't have to look at it. I can close my eyes. I know it's just like a blanket. And I did that for probably close to 10 years. And then just this year, I finally said, like, no laptop in the bed, no phone in the bed. I read, I put my book down, I turn the light off, and I just like go to sleep like a fucking farmer. Like, just like, all right, like, had a good day's work. And it feels so good to just like shut it down and not have to be eased into it, you know?
Yeah, I love that.
Are you reading your book?
Yeah, just back to front.
Cool.
I start over page 1 after I finish it. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll get to your book, but I want to trace your journey a little bit before that, because we were talking about your being at Dartmouth, and there's this span of your life that I really want to know about was, well, from there to here, but there's a roller coaster thing that I need to ask about, because I've never heard about this from you.
So after Dartmouth, I got very lucky to get connected with a job in the Middle East working for a theme park design company. It was actually an animation company that was starting a theme park design division. They were based in Amman, Jordan. I studied architecture, fine art, and design at Dartmouth, and through this connection, they were like, do you want to help start up this division? And I just couldn't say no. I never really had an interest in the Middle East as a region, but that's one of those things that's like, oh, you don't want to go there? You probably should go there. So it was a good thing for me. And I spent about 1.5 years there. And then they opened an office in LA. So I transferred to LA and sort of wiggled my way towards the entertainment industry.
What was it like designing roller coasters?
We didn't do like, people are always like, oh, you're like a physicist or you're an engineer. No, I did the architectural designs of like the interior and exterior spaces. So like we would drop in the ride systems and then design. It's kind of like Imagineering, designing the space around it.
Wow.
Keep going on that. Like in the Middle East, where were you living?
Jordan, Amman, Jordan, which is the capital of Jordan, yeah.
And were you designing things in Jordan?
So we were working on one big project on the Red Sea that was partially funded by the King, who's a huge Star Trekkie.
Yeah.
So we got like the Paramount licensing rights to Star Trek IP, and we were going to build this big resort in Aqaba, which is on the Red Sea. And a lot of our designs were that, but that got shelved due to political unrest. When there's like rockets flying over the construction site, it's not the best time to open a theme park. So we'd follow the money, and we worked on projects in China, Abu Dhabi, the Emirates, like Ferrari World, and these big silly projects. So
isn't that a place that's in the Indiana Jones movie in Jordan, that incredible temple, the front of that temple?
Yeah, Petra. Yeah. So you go through these slot canyons and you come out, and it's just like Indiana Jones. It's not a set at all. And that's worth the trip to Jordan alone. To see Petra is spectacular. Yeah.
Wow.
I went there a couple times.
You must have seen so many cool things over there.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time. There's a desert called Wadi Rum, which is where Lawrence of Arabia was kind of based. And that was still my favorite place on earth. It's just like this magical orange desert punctuated by these giant rock formations. And we'd go out there, and they set up like a Bedouin tent, and be like expats and locals and all our friend group just like having fun out there.
Wow.
Doing some rock climbing, stuff like that.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Why would you leave that?
So expat life is weird. There's this culture in the expat community of like, a lot of people come, they'll do their year, and then they'll go back to the States. And those people are kind of like frowned upon, because it's like, oh, you're not a real expat. Then there's the people who are lifers, and they're all like sort of incestuous, and they're like, they're like, oh, I'm not going back to America. I'm such like a traveler. And I went back and forth between like, am I one of them? But I wanted to go back to the States. Like I spent 4 years at Dartmouth, like building the best friendships in the world, and all my friends were starting their lives in the US, and I just missed them terribly. And I had a weird itch to sort of pursue the entertainment industry, and eventually I just kind of bailed. Yeah.
And so you land in LA. Mm-hmm. You're still working in the sort of engineering architecture
did another
space.
Year at that studio in LA. Yeah.
And then the performing called.
No. I was working on the book that I wrote, and I'd been working on that since college. It's sort of in the background.
The one that just came out?
It came out in 2014. It's been out for a while.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the name of the book
it's
again?
called She Can Fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was working on that, and I had some urgency to get it finished because of the woman I was writing it with and some health concerns. And I knew that I needed to really dedicate my time to it. So I was looking for a job that I could have some more freedom in my schedule and kind of live inside the story as I was finishing it and trying to publish it. And I ended up finding a post on Craigslist to be the assistant to a dog psychic. And she had just published a book. She's sort of a celebrity dog psychic.
Sure.
And,
Of course, LA.
Another cutthroat business.
It's wonderful.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're telling me, Cesar Millan's got the market cornered.
Mhm.
But so I started working for her and kind of became her creative director, doing her branding, website design, social media, producing little video segments while I was finishing my book. So I got to see the publishing industry and the media industry from the inside out while working on that book. So I did that for about a year and then published the book in 2014. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she fired me. So I got fired by a dog psychic.
Wow. Do you mind telling the story real quick?
Well, she was great. She's a really interesting person. And she would be like, Mercury's in retrograde, like take the week off. And I'd be like, okay. Like, but towards like the 0 hour of my book, I started shirking my responsibilities, and she caught on, and she was like, you're not in this, like, I'm going to let you go. And she was right to do so.
Oh, okay. I thought she was going to like fire you in some wacky dog psychic way where she like,
I
beamed her
deserved it.
thoughts
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
it, had her dog
Pomeranian
fire
comes
you or
over
something.
with a little note on his
Yeah.
chest. Yeah.
Saint
You're
Bernard with
fired.
the barrel. Yeah.
Wait, did you have your dog at the time?
Yeah, I got my dog as soon as I moved to LA. So
What's
I
your
had her
dog's
for-
name?
Elephant.
Ella.
Ella.
So did was that like a key selling point when you got
It
hired
was.
by this dog psychic?
Yeah,
Ella's connection with her?
Yeah, and like the woman who I wrote the book with was like a really good dog trainer. She taught me how to like train dogs and raise dogs. So it all kind of came full circle. It was all
Talking
involved.
to dogs is a skill. It's
Yeah.
I learn every day with my little guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people always ask about working for the dog psychic. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's chakras and spirit guides and all that stuff, but there's a real psychological foundation to her work where your dog is just an extension of you. So as disciplined as you are with yourself, you're going to be with your animal. And whatever they're expressing as problematic behavior is probably something you need to work on. So her sessions were a way of kind of getting the client as a person on the couch through the dog and analyzing them. And I would go into sessions being like, this is going to be so embarrassing when it doesn't work. They're paying all this money. And then by 2 hours later, the client's just sobbing about how their relationship with their dead mother is like translating to their animal. And I was just like, God, wow. Yeah,
Wow.
it was cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. Because every time like her dog pushes its leg into me, I feel like I always imagine almost like an avatar intermingling
Oh, the, like-
of the
Yeah.
of the
Tarek
tail.
Mocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really how it feels. It feels like this like weird intermingling
It's
between us.
all energy or whatever you want to call it. Like dogs are so perceptive. They're bred to read our body language in a way that no animal is.
Yeah.
The only animal that understands pointing.
Whoa.
Archie's favorite band is 311.
Really?
Amber is the color of my energy.
Classic.
No, he actually likes
Yeah.
he actually likes Imagine Dragons.
Okay, he's an all rock guy.
Yeah, his favorite song is Radioactive.
That's amazing.
Quick, what's your dog's favorite song?
I don't know. She doesn't like music.
It is very cool to see. Like, I look at you as like a total package, modern man in a lot of ways, which is why I really like having like honest, deep conversations with you. But also, I've seen like pictures of you walking next to your dog hiking, and your dog is not on a leash, and it's just like, damn, dude, like there's a lot of cool things happening in your life.
Yeah, I mean she's an off leash dog. I can walk her through Franklin Village where I live, through the and like. You see people being like, well, whose dog is that? And I was like, no, she's mine. Like people with other problematic dogs are like, put your dog on a leash. It's like my mental leash with her is stronger than your physical leash. Like I trust her way more than your rope or whatever you got there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's a really good dog. So I've been lucky with her. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're both lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's my child. She's my
Ella.
daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are doing dog psychiatry for a year. Your book is published.
Mm-hmm.
Before we move on from the book, we got to talk a little bit about the plot. I have not read it yet, and I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest about why. I'm
It's
in a
heavy.
place right now where I'm trying to lift myself up, dial myself in,
Mhm.
and once I can fly straight and clean, then I can get into something important and like dear. So
No,
I hope you don't mind.
I
but
totally
I'm being
understand
honest.
that. I mean, I always give people the caveat, like, if you need to put it down, because it's a book about, at the core, domestic violence and sexual assault. It's very heavy. And it's the true life story of this woman I wrote it with, the woman I was really close with growing up. And it's, as far as a cautionary tale goes, as bad as it gets. So people who have had experience with that, or even who haven't and are just like so put off by it, will put it down. And we wrote it in a way that it's very quick, it's very urgent, and it's only 217 pages. So a lot of people read it in like 1 or 2 sittings, because if you put it down, it's like, why do I want to go back to this literally brutal story?
Brutal story, but everyone who I read the reviews on is like, I'm so glad I finished that. Holy shit.
And I think it's shed some light on the resiliency of what she went through and how she pulled out of it eventually, finally. And like I said, it's a cautionary tale. So the idea is to expose the warning signs and the early progression of that abuse cycle early, so that people who are in a similar situation don't get to where she got to.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do.
I was in a very bad situation that I, did get out of. And it's, a huge part of who I am was that getting in and out of it. But I certainly had no idea before I got involved with that person that something like that could ever happen to me.
Yeah.
And I think I had always looked at people who were in domestically violent situations or abusive relationships as just very other. Like, it just
couldn't happen to me.
Impossible.
Why
to
doesn't
understand.
she just leave? Is what everyone says. Why doesn't she just leave?
Oh my God!
By the time you get to that point, you're so brainwashed and so stuck in this like push-pull abusive cycle that you don't have an option. And people don't. I mean, there's kids involved. A big reason people don't leave is because, like, what am I gonna do with my dog? We have an apartment together. There's 1,000 reasons not to leave, and there's one really good reason to leave. Is like, he might kill you. Yeah. And it happens a lot. Yeah. Unfortunately.
My other understanding too, from my experience, was that I was so turned around that I literally didn't know which way the surface was.
Yeah,
if
it's like
I
you're
wanted,
in an avalanche.
Yeah, it was really crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm so I wanted to say looking forward to. I am looking forward to reading it, because
there's a hopeful ending, I promise.
Well, and it's
There's
very
light.
important. Like, these stories are so important to share, and so it's really cool that you met that sort of woman where she needed to meet you in order to get her story out. Like, that's really.
And I try not to give away our relationship, because it's involved in the story, but it is like this perfect circle of creativity and redemption for her and me, and it's like, I think it's the best thing I'll ever do. Like, no matter what, and I'm okay with that. I'm so happy with it. Yeah.
And it also ties into all of your charity work, which is always really cool too.
So all the proceeds we've made from selling the book, because it's on Amazon and all that, just go back to giving away free copies to schools and shelters and libraries, centers of resource. I give away free copies all the time on my Instagram, signed copies, just because this is not about money at all, and it's just about getting more eyes on it. Is every set of eyes is a little bit of progress. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I feel like this is where we'd be like, we'll be right back, but it's a podcast, so it's hard.
Coffee break.
After these messages.
Coffee break.
Yeah.
Big sip.
Have you noticed that some podcasts do that? Like, Conan has a podcast, or like, and they'll do this thing where they're like, all right, we'll be right back, and then they come they don't go anywhere.
It's just it's a spot for dynamic ad insertion in case they do get sold.
But like,
Mark's nodding.
Yes.
Like the Office Ladies. There's an Office Ladies podcast where it's Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher. Yeah. And they go, we'll be right back. And then they come. I'm like, what did you like?
They do it on Dead Eyes too. Have you been listening to Dead Eyes? That's a great podcast for anyone who's in any part of the entertainment industry, and it's a similar thing. And I'm always like, what's up? But
it's this vestige of a prior format of, like, talk shows.
It's an ad insertion point. Yeah,
I guess so. But
we could do that.
Okay,
we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
Cool. So the book is published.
Yep.
And I remember listening to an episode of Model Behavior. You were like, even at Dartmouth, you were jokingly always saying, like, I kind of want to act. And you were like, just throwing it out there for the world to hear, or putting it out there for yourself to hear out loud.
I don't even think I put it out there for myself to hear. Since I was a kid, St. Louis, Missouri, we're nowhere near Hollywood. But I always had this weird, like, I want to be an actor. And I took drama class in 7th grade, and I did well. And my teacher was like, you should be auditioning for stuff. And my parents were like, where? We're in St. Louis. Like, and it just never went anywhere. Mm-hmm. But in the back of my mind was always this thing. And I went to Dartmouth and I finally took an acting class my last term at Dartmouth, which is a whole nother story. It took a very long time for me to graduate, but it just kept that spark going. And that was my whole thing. Like I went to Jordan. I knew they were going to be opening an office in LA. So I was like, I'll put in my time in Jordan. I'll transfer to LA. I'll try to move towards like production design, maybe get on set, see what I like, and like wiggle my way towards talent, quote unquote, which I had no idea how it worked. And it's been a 10-year process of figuring that out. But yeah, that was kind of my plan that worked out. Yeah.
You're a working actor, model.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah, I pay my bills with modeling and acting, commercial acting, yeah.
It's awesome. It's also really cool because the first time we met here, I said, what do you do? And you said, I'm a model. And then I kind of saw you brace yourself for me to do some kind of joke or something about it. But because of where we live and because I learned from you how fucking hard it is to actually do, like I'm so glad I didn't make some weak hack joke in that moment with you.
Yeah, and I play with that a lot because if people say, what do you do? And you say you're a model, there's two assumptions immediately. You're a dick or dumb or both. And I kind of like to see people's reaction because the person who writes me off and is like, well, you're not worth my time, I don't really want to talk to that person. But the person who's like, yeah, but like, what else about you? That's the person I want to talk to. Mm-hmm. And I've played with that in LA socially for a long time. But someone was like, you need to stop doing that. Like, you're selling yourself short because like that's not all you are. And I mean, I model and that's my job, but I don't think it defines me. And there was a great episode with Justin Davis where he was like, yeah, it's just my job. It's not who I am. So I don't know. I struggle with it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think everybody, at least for me, I'll say everybody meaning me, secretly, like I remember getting my high school senior pictures. Yeah. It was my first time getting a professional picture.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to pose for the camera. I've got my Fossil watch that I'm really trying to get in there. Frosted tips. Yeah. I'm like, damn, I think I can model. Like I got this. Yeah. And then I look back at them and I'm like, oof, I am giving nothing to anyone at all.
I couldn't even smile. It was like dead eyes, just like fake smile.
Yeah.
I was addicted to America's Next Top Model. Yeah. That show was amazing because not only was it just like fun reality TV where people were melting down on set because they couldn't like get the thing right, but also Tyra Banks was dispensing, I think, valuable advice. I mean, maybe you could tell me better as a model if she was like on point, but she had some pretty amazing. Andre Leon Talley was a judge at one point, and I was just listening to a podcast where they were talking about him because he just passed, and they were saying how there was one model on that show who had like a busted shoot and everyone made fun of her, and that Andre Leon Talley was actually like, I love this picture and it's art.
Yeah.
And it just, anyway, that was a tangent to just saying that like totally. It was a really cool show with amazing tips about how to, and how hard it is, how truly hard it is, and how special a skill it is to really be able to do the things that you do.
I was at a party last night with actually two girls who were on that show. And one of them, Angel, was my really close friend, and there was this thing, she got cut from the show and people were like, oh, I'm sorry, like you can't be a model, you didn't make it.
Right.
And it's like there's this myth that modeling is you just get discovered. Like Giselle got discovered in a McDonald's in Brazil when she was 14, and then you just get catapulted into covers of magazines. It's not the case. It's like this really hard grind of trial and error. There's no graduate course you can take for it. There's the classes here and there in LA, but not really. That's more for commercials and whatnot. So it's just, you just keep trying and keep figuring it out. And it's this really hard hustle of, like at the beginning, you're trying to model so hard that it comes off as like that, like Zoolander stuff. And then you further down the line and you realize the less you do, the better. And it's like the best models are just really confident, nice people. And that's, if I can plug my podcast a little bit, like Model Behavior, it's about talking to the people who I've experienced. The best models, the working models, are the most grounded, hardworking, like family-oriented, good people. Because at the end of the day, it's about who do you want to spend 12 hours with on set? This diva who, yes, there are divas who they sell bags, they sell shoes, so like they can command whatever pay rate they want and get away with being a bitch on set. But most of us, the journeyman models, just have to be like regular people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about who was it who was like crying in a gutter and she was discovered. I can't remember which model it was, but I think that is the sort of like the rags to riches mythology that we all understand. But
Charlize Theron.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, she was a ballet dancer who had like a crazy history, but she's one of the hardest working people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's like really hardworking, good people.
It's really hard. It's really inconsistent. And I've thought about it. Like people are like, why do you do it? And it's like, I don't know. I just kept I kept wanting to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you do something, you're like, I don't like this, I'm gonna quit. And I just never wanted to quit. And I was not a good model. I didn't wasn't some like prodigy model who they discovered me and I got an agency and like took off. Like it was really slow. And it took several years before I could even, you know, quit my side jobs and whatnot, because you just have to figure it out. And like, there are people who just have that presence, but it's a skill set at the end of the day. It's a learnable skill, a teachable skill.
Yeah.
Okay, so then to dispel the myths, because like you were saying at the beginning, it's like, this is my genetic code.
Yeah.
But there's so many people who have great genetic codes who never get to the level that you're at. So like if it's a watch, or you're doing a volleyball scene, or you've told me about times where you've had to run over and over and over and over on the beach for 10 fucking hours to get one goddamn shot. So what is it like behind the scenes that separates you from someone who just like might have a good genetic code?
Yeah, I mean, it's the 10,000 hours thing. You know, there's people who are so much more beautiful than me, and there's people who are so much more unique than me, and like they're more in fashion than me. But you could take that person, pluck them out of wherever situation they're in that they've never modeled before, and put it in front of a camera on a shoot, and they're gonna have no fucking idea what they're doing. And you might catch lightning in a bottle, but it's gonna be really difficult for the whole team. And that's what it comes down to. Is like, I know after this many years, I know what the photographer is looking for. I know what, like, where my lighting is. I know where my marks are. I know that I'm not the product. It's whatever I'm wearing. So it's like not about me. It's about, they're trying to show off this zipper right here. And like, how do I angle my body so that's showing? And like, it's this team atmosphere, which I love about the process, is like this such a collaboration that I can move myself towards what they want. So we all meet in the middle and get what we need. And it's not this like,
can you feel that psychic energy
on set?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Even though it's because I've asked you before, because photography, I'm like, do you just like move the whole time like this, and then they just keep shooting, and then they
sometimes
okay.
Sometimes it's a weird dance. Sometimes they want you to kind of like move, pause. You get into this rhythm with the photographer, especially in like studio shoots where you're just shooting like 60 pairs of pants in a day. Like you'll get this dance going, and like it's click, move, and it with a good photographer model relationship, it's an easy day, but it's a grind. 60 pairs of pants. Like, not fun. Like, it's not glamorous.
That's your memoir.
60 pairs of pants. That's a good memoir title.
I was playing golf this morning and I hit a ball and I was like, oh, not quite straight. And my friend goes, not quite straight. The Michael Gabel story. That's it.
Oh, fantastic.
And then he hit one and was like, oh, short and fat. And I was like, that's your story.
Yeah. That would be my childhood story. That'd be like part one of my memoir.
Yeah.
Short and fat. Yeah. Awesome. I was going to put this red hat on, but I wasn't sure if it was allowed yet. But it's because you introduced Mary Jane and I to one of my favorite people of all time.
Cool
Can we
guy.
wear red hats yet? Is it legal?
It's not legal.
Just
I mean,
show it,
here on the podcast, I think it's, yeah.
If you wear it backwards, it kind of breaks the trope.
Yeah, and then you can see what it's about.
Yeah.
Animaniacs, Tom Ruger.
Animaniacs, yeah.
One of the greatest days to go to Tom Ruger's home and see his art and have a conversation with
Oh, I didn't know you went to
a
his home.
legend.
That's incredible.
It was the coolest day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was like a segue into talking about your art.
Mhm.
Because going to Tom Ruger's, I'm turning it around. I don't care. He's not going to be
You do
president
you.
ever
Yeah.
again. Ever again.
For everyone listening who doesn't know, go check out that episode. He's the creator of Animaniacs and
Yeah.
so
Works
many other
closely with Spielberg on a ton of projects.
Yeah.
You know, like animation god, really.
living legend,
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm wearing a red hat. We have a YouTube channel now. Go to it. Shout out Top Tree Studios. You can watch this video and see me in a red hat and get triggered. You make a bunch of incredible art.
Thank you. I try.
But it's also like we've talked before about the danger of hobby shifting to profession.
Mhm.
And if you can like lose the love of something if
Mhm.
it becomes too tied up in success.
Yeah.
And but boy oh boy, I gotta be honest, I hope you have massive success with your art because it's one of a kind.
Well, and it's funny because I think the series you're referring to, my serial killers, I did those for no reason. There was no client. I just was bored because I have a lot of downtime. I'm running around to shoots and auditions, but like part of the thing I like about my job is freedom in my schedule. But idle hands, like for me especially, is like the devil's playground. So I need something if I'm not creating, I'm destroying.
Yeah.
And usually destroying myself, and it's not healthy. So I started making these really intricate serial killer portraits of famous serial killers out of breakfast cereal. And yeah, it was just like I wanted to see them in the world, so I made them. And then they kind of caught on. I got commissions for different projects, and then worked with some other food brands like Cheez-It came at me and did a cool project with them.
Did you see that?
I haven't seen the Cheez-It one.
Yeah, they did a big social media campaign where they wanted a celebrity's face made out of Cheez-Its. And my friend, he works for the ad agency in Chicago, and they're like, we want to do this thing, and how would we do this? He goes, I think I know a guy.
Whoa. Who's the piece of?
So it's Chris Harrison, who's the host of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Yeah. And
in
so,
Cheez-Its.
In 4 different flavors of Cheez-Its, yeah.
It's
so
It's
good.
massive. It's like 4 feet by 5 feet. It's huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've
I
gotta
spent a
see
lot
it.
of the pandemic working on that.
Yeah, we got to put that on our Instagram. And you did one of Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of Cheerios.
Comedy killer.
Oh, dude, that is like such a prized possession of
Yeah.
mine.
It's
Ugh,
so very
prized
cool.
possession. If we ever get an office, it's going in there. It's just going with me everywhere for the
Cool.
rest
When
of
we
my
get
life.
an office.
When we get an office.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Mhm.
And wait, I had it and then I forgot. Oh, speaking of Cheez-Its too, we would not be Weed and Grub if we didn't talk about food. And actually, what I want to ask you is like your shoot day food and how you prepare to audition, or if you have to even stay in shape all the time. And what does your meal game even look like?
So that's a common question. People are like, what do you do to prepare for a shoot? And I don't have time. Auditions come. I usually get the notification for an audition the night before. I might have to take my shirt off in an audition if it's for a fitness thing or a beach thing or whatnot. So there's no time. Like, yeah, you can dehydrate a little bit to like really like shrink wrap everything, but I kind of have to be in the shape I want to be in all the time. And on set, people won't have big meals or eat something that's gonna like bloat them. But my theory on set is the food is free, A, and B, it's the food you ate 2 weeks leading up to the shoot that really makes you like bigger. So I'm gonna eat the free food.
Yeah.
Yeah, day of. It
Love
ain't gonna
to
be
hear it.
Yeah.
Go to Crafty.
I'm not going to my love handles yet.
But is it like no bread, no white food, no sugar?
No,
or
I eat everything. I do like a rough intermittent fasting type of thing. So I usually skip breakfast, and I try to eat like, the perimeter of the grocery store. So like real foods, whole foods, but I eat pizza and I eat bread and I eat pasta as long as it, I don't eat it all the time. When it's worth it and I deserve it, like I'll eat it. But I'll eat a pint of Ben and Jerry's too. It's just, I can kind of judge after doing this for so long when it's okay and when it's not.
I feel like the Whole Foods on Santa Monica is trying to trick me because the perimeter on the back half of the store is all of the wine and cheese, and then right next to that is the pizza, and then right next to that is the bakery.
You're like, perimeter.
So,
I'm
yeah,
good.
I'm like, listen, Michael Gabel said if I want to look like him, I
It's
start
not
at the
working.
wine and I finish at the cupcakes. I mean, this is great advice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in tip-top shape.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, I hate it, but it's like it's a lifestyle. It's not a diet. You can't yo-yo. You got to just like, what's the best gym routine? It's the one you're gonna do. It's the one you're gonna stick to, and the one you enjoy. I eat all the foods I like. Even the healthy stuff. I love it. It's just got to find your balance.
Yeah.
And then do you do cycles for fitness, like fast twitch, high cardio, and then do like heavy lifting for like 3 months a year? Like how do you
That's all pretty consistent
all
too.
tight?
I do a lot of like big Olympic lifts, like bench press, overhead press, deadlift, that stuff. And as long as I keep those numbers where I want them, I kind of just fill in the rest with whatever I feel like that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I just do a lot of activities. So I went golfing this morning. I'll go for a hike most mornings. I'll go surfing. I just try to do, it sounds like a lot, but I try to do 10 workouts, which includes activities a week. So most days I'm doing 2, like the gym and something else.
Nice.
Yeah.
way to
Sounds
keep it
healthy.
open.
Yeah.
No shit. The
Yeah.
thing about that for me is that like when I really started getting a lot of auditions was right around when Hangover came out and everyone was like, ooh, we need like bearded roly-poly guys
Yeah.
to be like that weirdo in every commercial. You're our Galifianakis is what I
Yeah.
was told over and
Yeah.
over. But there's always like, so I've had to change my look, change my body and stuff just to go with types and trends. Is there also that, or is fitness modeling kind of, we all want to look at somebody doing something that we want to do, so there's always
but it's
room.
evolving so much. I mean, so my first agency ever was a fitness agency, and like I said, I wasn't a real athlete. I kind of like retroactively became one as soon as I signed with a fitness agency. I was like, I better get in shape. And then I realized you can't hack it. You can't 4-hour body it. It's like you got to train like an athlete to look like an athlete. But now, almost 10 years later, the trend is more relatable. It's more like apparently my agency is getting feedback that people are too in shape. It's not. It's like not
Wow.
attainable.
Yeah.
And people don't want to see that. So
Awesome.
so like the dad bod, they'll be looking for dad bods. They're looking for softer. And for me, it's like you kind of get in this like push pull of like, well, I want to have abs, but then like I'm gonna miss that role because they want the dad bod. So I just have to go with what I feel confident. And like there's a certain point, balance point physically where I just like feel confident in my skin.
Mhm.
And like, yes, I'm gonna miss out on some of the other stuff, but I have to be happy with myself to go into an audition room and charm them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you at a place now, because I am not, where you can just be really happy with who you are, the things you create, the books you write, the dog that you walk on no leash, and you can walk in that room or do that reel that I saw on your Instagram where you just threw the piece of paper and I was like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, are you at a place of self-acceptance and where you're like, I like myself and I'm good?
Yes, for the first time in my life, and I can genuinely say this, I know what self-love is.
Oh.
And I'm 35 years old, so it's been a long road. I don't think I had self-like for most of that. Like, and it's been a game changer. It's been a lot of work over the last 9 months or so, but yeah, I love myself. And I love myself like I think I have great style. I think I have great taste. I think I have, I think I'm in great shape, but like I don't need you to think that about me. I want you to think that about you. And this sounds like so self-improvey and hokey, but like
I buy it though.
Yeah, it's
I really
like
do.
I want you to feel that too, because you see people who just don't look well and they don't look happy and they're uncomfortable and they're anxious, and it's like I hate that for everyone. I don't want anyone to be uncomfortable in their skin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've been trying to figure out my whole life. And my podcast has given me a little platform to share what I've learned, to learn from what other people have learned in their journey, and like you get this one shot at this weird game we get to play, and like to spend most of it suffering is not it.
Yeah,
it's not it.
That's it. That's the wisdom. That's the perfect place to wrap, right?
Let's wrap there, man.
Where can everyone find you?
Instagram, Michael G Gabel. The book, like I said, She Can Fly, is available on Amazon, and then my podcast, Model Behavior with Michael G Gabel, wherever you get podcasts. Yeah.
Amazing. It's been so lovely to hang out. I hope you'll come back a lot.
I feel drastically like unqualified to be on this podcast. So this has been such a pleasure for me. You guys are like my spirit animals in this world of creativity and podcasting, so I'm so thankful to be here.
We met at Public House to get your podcast rolling, and it's fucking awesome. I hope everyone checks it out.
Yeah.
And now we're doing video, and that's the next thing I want to incorporate in my podcast. So I'm just like nipping at your
heels.
heels.
A podcast called Model Behavior kind of has to have video.
People want to see.
It's like a weird idea that would be audio only.
We're all like phone sex operators, like secretly just ginormous.
Oh, are you really models?
Yeah.
Hey,
okay, I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh, tell me more. Yeah. Big boy.
You can follow us at Weed and Grub. Email us wg@weedandgrub.com. Give us 5 stars on Apple iTunes or Spotify. Leave a review. Do the same for Model Behavior as well. Bump us up in that motherfucking algorithm.
Yeah.
Shout out to Top Tree Studios. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.